guys! So today I'm going to be going over my favorite face makeup brushes. I've already posted my favorite eyeshadow makeup brushes and I'll leave that video down below. But today it's all about the face, and I'm just going to go in order of how I usually apply my face makeup, starting with foundation. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of sponges and I'm not a huge fan of foundation brushes. I just don't like them at all. I like the finish better when I use a sponge, and I don't have to worry about streaks. I don't have to worry about my makeup building up in the brush. That like freaks me out. I don't know why. So I'm a sponge girl all the way, and the two that I use often, like I switch between the two. I have the Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge, and then I have the and then I have the Beauty Blender. This one's $20, this one's like $5.99, $6.99, and to be honest, I do prefer the Real Techniques one just because it's easier for me to clean up my eyeshadow edge with this flat edge, and I do that because when I clean up my eyeshadow like this, if I do it like a straight line, it lifts up my eyes, and I have little eyes, and then I also have hooded eyes, so this just lifts up my eyes, and I just like this better. Now the Beauty Blender is more airy and spongy, so it's a lot lighter, while the Real Techniques one is a little bit more dense and heavy, but at the end of the day my makeup looks exactly the same. Like, it doesn't look better when I use the Beauty Blender. It's literally the same. It's just applying it feels different. So I feel like sponges give me a flawless finish. It gives me like that airbrush finish, which I like, and it doesn't look heavy. I can do a light coverage routine with a sponge, and I can also do like a heavy full coverage too. I feel like a lot of people say, oh, beauty blenders or sponges can't give a full coverage look, but I can do all of them, so I don't know why people say that. I feel like the finish is just so beautiful, and I feel like they help soak up all the excess foundation. Sometimes we can go a little bit crazy by applying too much foundation, and the Beauty Blender just sucks up that excess and helps with that makeup transfer. So it will only apply as much as you need, and then you're good to go. I love them. You wet them first, and then you go ahead and apply your makeup. Don't use them dry because that will suck up all the foundation, but it's just beautiful. I love it, and my face just looks awesome when I use sponges. So after I apply my foundation, I usually move on to my eyes, and then I let my foundation sink in, and then I go ahead and get back to the face and set my face with powder. And the powder brush that I've been using recently is from the Morphe Vegan set. I mentioned that set in my eyeshadow video, but this is just like a powder brush. It doesn't have a name, but I'm calling it the powder brush. It's great because it's fluffy, it's like the perfect size, and it's great to just kind of lightly put on the powder, and then you're good to go. So this is just a great kind of like staple powder brush to have. So once I have set my face, it's time to move on to contouring, and I have two contour brushes that I really like. The first one is pretty expensive. It's from Sephora. I think it's still $50. I got this when I worked at Sephora, so I got some money off, but still pretty expensive. Totally worth it though. I love it. It's the Pro Contour Blush Contour Brush number 74. That's like a weird name, but whatever. I love this brush because it's perfect. It's the perfect size. It's the perfect amount of fluffy. It's the perfect like density. It doesn't apply my contour patchy. It applies the color, and it also blends it out too, so I don't have like a straight line. It's the perfect brush. The only thing I don't like about it is that it sheds. I hate when my camera just shuts off on me. I don't know where I left off, but the two things that I don't like about this brush are it still sheds till this day. I've had this for years. Still sheds, and it still bleeds every time I wash my brushes. Like, isn't that crazy? Still bleeds till this day. So it's still a great contour brush. I love it. It's honestly the perfect contour brush. Perfect size, everything that I just mentioned. It's awesome. And then the Morphe brush is very, very close to. It's a little bit more dense than the Sephora brush. Like, the Sephora brush is a little bit more fluffy, which is why I like it better. This is a little bit more dense, but it's still a really good size. It applies my contour very nice. I just wish it was a little bit fluffier. Like, it doesn't blend out the contour as well as the Sephora one does, but it's still a good one. Like, it's my second favorite, so it's still very nice, and it's small, so you can get in your temples, your cheekbones, and all of that good stuff. So this is still a good number 2 brush. After I'm done contouring, it's time to bronze up the face, which is like one of my favorite parts of makeup. This is also from the Vegan set. It's called the, what are we gonna call it? The bronzer brush. I love this thing because it's fluffy, but it's also very dense at the same time. It's crazy, but it's great for just packing on that bronzer. It blends out beautifully. I don't know what I did without this brush. Like, I don't know, but it's amazing. It's the best brush ever. This also would be really good to pack on powder, but because it's so dense, I feel like you would put on like way too much powder. I don't know, but it's great for bronzing, and I use it all the time. It's an awesome, awesome little brush. So yeah, the Morphe bronzer brush. Okay, so moving on to blush, I use two brushes, I think, pretty often. The one that I like a little bit more right now, I always switch off. This is by Sonia Kashuk. It's the number I don't know, but I'm calling this her angled blush brush. I like this when I want a more like precise application of blush, so I just dip it in and then I just, bam, brush it, not brush it, but yeah, I applied here. Sometimes I'll go like this and then I'll lightly blend it out. It's awesome. Then when I don't want to be super precise with blush, I will use the Real Techniques Multitasker brush, and I believe you have to buy this in a set, but whatever comes in that set, you know, they're pretty good brushes, so you can't go wrong. I just dab it into my blush and then just lightly go like this in circles. I love it for that, but I use this brush for almost everything. Right now I use it for blush, but I've used it for bronzer, I've used it for powder. It's a great multitasker brush. I feel like everybody should have this one in their collection, so I would definitely pick this one up. It's awesome. And then to set my under eyes, this is like my favorite brush of all time. I use it for so many different things, but this is the e.l.f. Small Tapered Brush. It's just a lovely, lovely brush. I set my under eyes just like this with it. It's like the perfect size and it's fluffy, so it doesn't like hurt your under eyes. You know, you want to be super careful with under there, and it's just a really good brush. And it's small, so I set my forehead with this, and then I also go right in between my eyebrows, and it fits perfectly, so I love that too. And then I also just set my chin with this, and it's just the best little brush. Also, and then moving on to the next category, I will also use this brush to apply my highlight right here. If I want a heavy amount of highlight, which nowadays we all want that like pound of highlight on our cheeks, I will use this brush because it packs it on very, very well. Then I actually wanted to mention this before, but I also use this brush to clean up my contour if I get a little crazy, and then I'll just put it in some powder, like very light powder, and I'll clean up the contour, and then I'll also like bring it around this way, bring it around town. It reminds me of that SpongeBob episode, whatever the heck, you guys know what I mean, like bring it around town. I will clean up here so that this area is bright, and then also clean right above here so that everything looks nice and precise. So that's what I love this brush for. Back on to highlighting. When I mentioned this in my eye brush video, but when I want like a medium amount of highlight on my face, I will use the setting brush by Real Techniques, just like that. It's perfect size. And then when I want just like a little bit of highlighter, I want it to be very subtle but very precise, I will use the e.l.f. fan brush. I love this brush so much. It's so thin, and it fits right here. It's so perfect, and I love this to just go right down my nose because it's so thin. It fits right there, and then I just dab it on my nose and dab it on my lips, and it's perfect because it's very precise. And then, for the last highlighting brush, this is the Morphe fan brush. The main reason why I bought the Morphe vegan brush set was because of this brush. It just looks so big, so fluffy. I feel like the girl from Despicable Me, but it's true. It's so fluffy, and I wanted to try it. So the Morphe fan brush, I'm calling it myself. This is good if you don't want your highlight to be super precise. Like if you want it to be blended in with your blush, this is a good brush to use. Because it's so fluffy and big, you might get it everywhere. Like I wouldn't do it on my nose because it would end up getting like in this area, and then if you do it here, you'll end up getting it all under your nose. You'll have like a highlighter mustache, which might be cute, but I don't know. But this is good just to apply to your cheekbones and have it like blend in with your blush, so you have like a shimmery blush. I love it for that. So great highlighter brush. So fluffy. And the last brush that I have to mention, I've had this for such a long time. This is the e.l.f. Kabuki Brush, and I use this to blend everything out. When I'm done with my makeup, I just go in, just like that, blend everything out, and then I'm good to go. It's super dense, also pretty fluffy, but more dense than fluffy, and it's just awesome at blending everything out. So yeah, it's a staple Kabuki brush to have. So those were my favorite face brushes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and just have a great day. This is the weirdest intro ever, but have a great day, guys. Bye.